Hello parents and carers. Everything you want to know about school improvement planning, but we're just afraid to ask. So the School Improvement Plan, we call it the SIP, is a working document outlining the progress made in developing the school and nursery over the past year, and our plans for improvement for the next session. We're a very ambitious school and we have high expectations for all our children and staff. We aim to develop outstanding standards in all aspects of our work. Now, this document sets out the strategic priorities agreed by the senior leadership team and all our staff. We are committed to empowering leadership at all levels at Kellands, and this year, Stacey Johnston and Jen Sinclair have joined myself, Mrs. Brunton and Mr. Souter to push forward our improvement plans, especially important after our COVID lockdowns. It is informed by the school's self-evaluation system, by the school's visions and values, and by the National Improvement Framework, which again is called the NIF. The NIF sets out the vision and priorities of Scottish education that has been agreed across the system, and the national improvement activity that needs to be undertaken to help deliver those key priorities. This complements the ongoing implementation of Curriculum for Excellence, getting it right for every child, and developing the young workforce, which are the three supporting pillars of the Scottish educational system. Our vision for education in Scotland is excellence across raising attainment, ensuring that every child achieves the highest standards in literacy and numeracy set out within Curriculum for Excellence levels, and the right range of skills, qualifications and achievements to allow them to succeed, and achieving equity, ensuring every child has the same opportunity to succeed, with a particular focus on closing the poverty-related attainment gap. We want to develop with our partners an empowered and collaborative system where everyone's contribution is heard and valued. Improving children and young people's outcomes is at the heart of everything we do. Key priorities of the National Improvement Framework are improvement in attainment, particularly in literacy and numeracy. 2. Closing the attainment gap between the most and the least disadvantaged children and young people. 3. Improvement in children and young people's health and well-being. And 4. Improvement in employability skills and sustained, positive school leaver destinations for all our young people. This is all about constantly improving your school at Kellands, and this is a shared vision and experience, and we would love feedback from this video.
Kellands School is a place which is always striving to improve and aim high in order to meet the needs of all our pupils. To continue on our mission, we have identified and made a priority to ensure that all our staff will be proactive in leading learning across the school, leading to increased consistency of shared expectations across the whole school. This will be exemplified in very effective practice. We will do this by putting in place a collegiate session calendar, which will be devised to ensure teacher leadership and shared understanding of consistency across the school. Our sessions will be led and delivered by staff who have an expertise in communication, emerging literacy, maths and numeracy, nurture, IT, DYW, and internal audits such as moderation. To help drive forward our priorities, Kellands School have appointed 2 principal teachers, Mrs. Sinclair and Miss Johnston. Together, they will refine our learning, teaching, assessment and moderation policy, focusing particularly on developmental approaches to literacy and how we assess and moderate within our school. Mrs. Sinclair and Miss Johnston will provide more information on these actions later in this improvement plan video.
Another aspiration we have here at Kellands is to ensure our early years curriculum is developmentally appropriate and led by skilled and confident staff. An exciting development that's currently being embedded is our approach to learning, and we refer to that as play is the way. Kellands School is an advocate of learning through high quality play. And developing our early years curriculum has already begun, and we're in the 2nd year of this area of development now. Our staff have been working collegiately to develop a shared understanding of effective early years practice through staff training and case studies. We've been looking at the learning environment indoors and out, and how our interactions, spaces and the experiences that we have on offer support teaching and learning. The early level curriculum spans from the start of nursery right through to the end of primary one, so we're planning more collaborative approaches between nursery and primary one to support practice. With this, we're proud to be part of the Play Collaborative Inquiry programme through Education Scotland. Our focus is on progression across the early and first level, with collaboration from nursery and primary 2 and 3 staff to identify reasons and solutions, from resources and research literature to find opportunities to implement new strategies and evaluate the impact for our children. A focus on planning, assessment and moderation will further develop our approach to ensure progression for all our children.
Kellands School are always extremely proud of all achievements made by our children. To continue this, we aim to empower all children to have the opportunity and support to take responsibility for their own learning, successes and achievements. Every child at Kellands has access to the platform app Seesaw. Here, the children and staff can showcase learning and wider achievements both within and out of school. We also promote children and their parents and carers to forward an individual's success to their teacher and senior leadership team so that they may be presented in assemblies. So far, Mr. Suter has carefully constructed a profiling guidance so that all staff are aware of the expectations in order to promote children's ownership and autonomy of their learning as well as shared language across school. Ms. King and I have constructed pre-made lessons for all staff to use in the coming year to provide all children with the necessary skills to use Seesaw to its full potential and to ensure staff are having regular learning conversations with pupils. To link in with our online learning journeys as part of my new role, which Mr. Mollison mentioned earlier, my drive is to ensure all teaching staff to fully use and embed the moderation cycle as part of our planning, teaching and assessment. Within the cycle, the learners are always at the heart, and with that in mind, teaching staff can develop a shared understanding of standards and expectations and provide a broad, challenging and meaningful lessons. Regular opportunities will be provided for staff to collegiately plan, assess and track individuals' development, including further training using a moderation calendar and after-school meetings.
Our next improvement priority is to ensure that children make continuous progress across their learning and development, particularly in relation to literacy and numeracy. In order for us to achieve this outcome, we have identified the following actions. Teachers will implement refreshed approaches to teaching literacy and numeracy through work done by school focus groups, for example, wraparound phonics. We will also be using Highland Literacy and Aberdeenshire progressions to ensure that there is a clear progression throughout the school in regards to numeracy and literacy. Finally, quality skills progressions will be developed for both health and wellbeing and digital technology. The second outcome that's included as part of this improvement priority is to ensure that the youngest children in our school and nursery setting experience a developmentally appropriate curriculum in early literacy, language and communication. This will enable them to develop the foundation skills required to achieve early level. This will be achieved by providing emerging literacy training to staff and delivering a family learning workshop. We will complete initial emerging literacy assessments with primary 1 children to make sure that we're providing each child with developmentally appropriate learning experiences. We will keep families informed of their child's progress and will provide targeted and universal support. Finally, we'll purchase some new reading resources to support the development of literacy at this crucial early stage. The third outcome of this improvement priority is to further develop teaching approaches to ensure that our learners have access to exciting and relevant learning opportunities across numeracy and maths. This will be tackled by the following actions. Dedicating whole school teaching development time to learning about the white rose, concrete pictorial and abstract approaches. Introducing team teach sessions to support professional dialogue and moderation. Establishing a working group to establish best practice and lead developments. And creating more opportunities for children to understand and talk about maths by focusing on strategies and thought processes, rather than the task.
Our final priority is that our school community have a shared understanding of well-being and that staff are skilled in approaches to support well-being, nurture and communication. This will ensure equality, equity, and inclusion for all. At Kellands, it's fundamental that our school community has a shared understanding of this well-being, especially with an emphasis on mental health and the significance that well-being and nurture approaches have on our young people. In order to achieve this aspect of our improvement plan, we have aligned our health and well-being curriculum to the Kellands values and well-being indicators, and we continue to review the lessons, the resources, and progression frameworks to ensure that what is delivered in class is high in quality and responsive to pupils' social, emotional, and physical needs. Our weekly assemblies are often linked to wellbeing indicators and school values, highlighting key international dates as well as celebrating our children's achievements through wider achievement shout-outs and positive postcards in recognition of pupils that have demonstrated our Kellands values each week. If you had a walk through our school, you would see a consistent use of the character images of our values and the well-being indicators, and you would also hear the language and the characteristics of our values spoken about and modelled by our staff team. We have introduced the zones of regulation and adapted this framework across the whole school, training staff and developing lessons and teaching resources in an engaging way so that there is a whole school shared language and delivery around the zones. We have also produced a parent presentation video on the zones so that there are links between home and school in regard to the language and strategies used to support emotional well-being and self-regulation. Our next step as a school is to ensure we reflect on the introduction of the zones throughout the school and build on this with another set of high-quality lessons for each year group to be delivered in Term 1 next year. In line with the zones of regulation, Let's Introduce Anxiety Management, or LIAM as it's often referred, is a training and intervention package based on cognitive behavioural therapy, CBT. And in Term 1 of this year, all of our teaching staff engaged with training delivered digitally by the NHS Education in Scotland team. This was in order to further support children presenting with anxiety on a universal basis. We are now hoping to develop this work and are exploring possibilities of targeted support with a trained LIAM practitioner to support identified individuals.
Another outcome of this priority is to ensure there is a shared understanding of our positive whole school ethos and culture, centred around relationships, inclusivity, and high expectations of staff and pupils with regards to behaviour and learning. We have laid the groundwork in Term 1 by refreshing our Promoting Positive Relationships policy, as staff reflected on their professional understanding of nurture, attachment theory, and trauma-informed practice. We continue to develop our staff's understanding of trauma through inset and twilight training to increase awareness of the impact it has had, and to develop and enhance skills in responding to children and young people who have experienced adversity or trauma in whatever form. The Promoting Positive Relationship policy includes expectations and visible consistencies for all staff and pupils, and these consistencies were launched for the whole school at the beginning of the year via assembly. Things like the Kellands walk, to move around the school safely, a member of staff meeting and greeting children each morning at the gate and as they enter the classroom, and remaining calm and consistent with regards to behaviour. We'll continue to review and extend this aspect of our practice with further visible consistencies, and are looking to develop further coherent procedures to strengthen our restorative approach.
To ensure equity with regards to communication, we have devised a whole school communication audit and action plan developed to take forward communication strategies. We've had input from the language unit and EAL to support the use of visual tools, and starter packs have been created for each class across the school. We also have a consistent and familiar visual daily timetable in each class. Staff have been training in Makaton, and by the end of Term 3, the majority of staff will have completed their Level 2 training, having completed Level 1 during Term 1. We are developing ways that Makaton can be built into the daily life of the school through routines and interactions, and via our school song, Where Everybody is Somebody.
At Kellands, we aim to demonstrate a nurturing approach in our setting and have a shared understanding of nurturing approaches. To achieve this, we've recently completed self-evaluation as a whole team using a tool called Applying Nurture as a Whole School Approach, and also received whole school nurture training delivered by our educational psychology team on the 6 principles of nurture. We've also invested in the Boxhall profiling tool to support identified needs, and we also make use of the Glasgow Motivation and Wellbeing tool to support how to plan for nurture and wellbeing in our targeted groups. We've also used our government funding to employ 1 full-time teacher dedicated to developing targeted nurture support as early intervention, as well as developing dedicated nurture spaces within our school, the Rainbow Room in Unit 1 and the Nurture Nook in Unit 2.
It is important that all our staff, pupils and partners feel respected, valued and supported, and we have a number of action points in place on our improvement plan to ensure they do. There is a staff wellbeing policy in place and regular check-ins with staff teams from SLT. For equity, we are also planning more formal one-to-one staff wellbeing sessions with SLT. Further to this, all staff know how to access the Employee Assist programme from Aberdeenshire Council. With regards to pupils, children's rights are part of our everyday conversation and visible in our display and class charters. Pupil passports have been implemented for those who have specific strategies that support them in school, and this was developed with parents and staff. The senior leadership team are visibly present and approachable, actively encouraging lines of communication for all, staff, students, parents and agencies, to discuss concerns or ideas.
We hope you found this presentation informative, helpful and hopefully a bit more accessible, engaging than lengthy documents to read. Most of all though, we hope that you will recognise how committed we are to ensuring the best for our Kellands family. It's a community and school that I am so proud of, and for all our plans and ambitions, it's the kiddies that bring it to life. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and please, if you have any questions, ideas or feedback, please don't hesitate to get in touch.